What up, nerds? I'm Bryson. You can call me Bammed, and this is CTF and Cigars by Bam CTF, where I light up a cigar and we talk about CTF things. So this week I've got a couple of guests with me. We're going to talk about a recent CTF that we put together here over at Perch. But before we get started, we'll start with the cigar like we always do. So this week I've got a Man'O'War Toro. So this is a 52 gauge, 6.5-inch cigar, a little bit longer than the Robustos that I've had the past couple weeks. So the Man'O'War Toro, this is it's a dark Habano Ecuador wrapper. You can see it's beautiful, dark wrapper, nice, thick, smooth, oily, smells great. This one's a little bit more bold than the last few that I've had. So this is a very robust flavored. It's got a heavy spice with very woody and earthy. Definitely woody and earthy. But then as you get through it, you get some of that coffee and cocoa and a touch of vanilla. So it's got a little bit of spice, a little bit of extra flavor, but mostly it's that oaky, earthy flavor that you get from this. Let me go ahead and light that up. Now I am a little bit worried about this particular cigar because when I cut it, I don't know if you can see that, but it's split there at the top. So there's always a chance that it might start unraveling on me as I smoke it. It should be properly humidified. It's been sitting in my humidor for a couple of weeks. So I don't know why it cracked. Maybe I might need to get a new cutter. It may not be sharp enough. But anyway, so let's get started on that. Yeah, it definitely starts pretty heavy with those woody, oaky undertones, a lot of earthiness, and then like I said, I've had a couple of these the past week. That coffee, cocoa, vanilla, all that will come in later as we get through it. All right, so let's introduce our guest this week. So first of all, we've got Garrett. Garrett, say hi.
Hey everyone, I'm Garrett. Played in the CTF, and that's why I'm here.
Yep. So we also have a recurring guest, Ross. Ross, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. I'm Ross, and I created the CTF, so I'm here.
Right. So Ross, tell us what CTF are we talking about today?
So recently, IT Nation Secure had their a conference the 14th last week, I believe, and they asked us to host a CTF as our part in the show. We had a 2-hour block. So 2 hours, a little less time than I wanted for a CTF, so we actually extended it to the next day. So it ran to the 15th. It was an IT Nation Secure 2020 CTF sponsored by us. And it was meant for more beginners, kind of more come in and kind of get your feet wet. And it was actually based around the Perch app and the Perch Sim component. And so you have to get to play around in the actual product that companies use to help keep their environment secure, and you get pretty much free reign to the majority of the important stuff. So it was really, I got a lot of good feedback. A lot of people enjoyed it, learned a lot. So it was a success, I'd say.
I think so. Garrett, what did you think? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So I'm still kind of trying to break my way into the cybersecurity industry, and I've heard about different SIMs and worked with, Splunk and things like that, but never anything so I guess thorough or in depth as a challenge like this. Usually it's like they throw a log file at you, see if you can find one thing out of it. But no, this is pretty cool because you've basically followed a story from start to finish and tried to pick up the breadcrumbs and teach yourself the framework at the same time.
Awesome. So Ross, what was the basic storyline for the CTF?
So basically, I had set up a CTF organization that had built add some integrations and stuff into it so we could showcase some things. And so we had a couple of users actually, who were using Office 365, very well-known product. One of them got phished, let's just say pretty well. And then it ended up being a couple of users got compromised, but the main user got phished. Some credentials were leaked. An attacker was able to get some binaries on a few boxes within the network from those leaked credentials. And then that attacker began to attack the domain controller of the systems and use a variety of different tools that are pretty well known, such as BB Cats, Kerberos, roasting, stuff like that. And so, or Kerbrute. And yeah, it's basically they had a compromise within 3 hours. Pretty fully.
Awesome.
So.
And then there were some other challenges that you had set up, right?
All right, I had set up some kind of off-track challenges. These were not necessarily related to the story. They were more for the more advanced players. They were around basic, I mean, some not basic, but some Linux scripting, just the more harder stuff that a beginner isn't necessarily required to know. Probably won't know. They were the gold for the advanced comers.
Right. Cool. And I don't know if we mentioned this, but yeah, Garrett, you actually won first place. There was another team that was in the lead, and then you kind of came in there right at the last minute, and
last second.
Yeah, like just a few minutes left in the CTF, and put in one more flag and surged to the top. So that was a very exciting moment. So yeah, Garrett's agreed, since he won first place, he's agreed to come on here and just kind of walk through the challenges and how he solved them, and that's basically our plan for today. So Garrett, are you ready to get started?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So let's see. We should be seeing your screen now. So looks like you've got the Perch app pulled up.
Yeah. Let's see if I'll get the actual CTF open too, so I can pull the challenges open. Okay, so when I jumped in, I wasn't really sure what to expect. I saw that it was for beginners, but now Ross made some pretty cool challenges. I think the first thing I jumped into was the like the more CTA, like the more common CTF stuff, the OSINT in the starting. But I had the most fun doing the Perchybana challenges, so I figured I'd start with those. If that's cool with you.
Yeah, sounds great.
Cool. Yep. So like the first challenge was log into Perch. So you provided us a link, and it took me a second, honestly, to find this one, because you had to join the Slack channel to get the link and get the credentials to log into the sim. So as soon as you log in, it asks you, can you tell me what organization your account is under? And then see if I can make that bigger. There we go. Is that easier to see?
Yeah, it looks good.
Cool. And then it says this can be found in the upper left-hand corner of the app. You hop onto the Perchybana and CTF. That was the company name.
Yeah, we've used that several times for CTFs, believe it or not.
Yeah, CTF was the company name, and you can overthink that, and it's like there's no way. Maybe they're just the subject name, but now that was the flag. Quick, easy points to start off, and then it's the cool thing is the way that you guys developed this was that you were teaching as we're playing a game, and I think that's the most enjoyable way for me to learn. That's why I like doing CTFs and like Hack the Box and things like that, because they make it into something fun, and you don't really realize you're learning. You're kind of getting fooled into it.
Yeah.
So we're kind of evaluating the test rules. Before we dive into the data, let's see what the SOC has sent us. If you check out the details of the alert, there's a comment section. Can you give me the flag? So on the framework, you can kind of see through the intelligence that you've got alerts, escalations. Reading that test rule under the escalated, so escalations. And you scroll down to the bottom, look at what was there, and you've got Perch test. And you can kind of, let's see, evaluate the whole thing. Sure. So it talks about what the actual rule itself is, and the flag itself was kind of hidden, that you actually had to click things. It wasn't just a go to the test rule and win. So if you can check things like the sightings, it shows who's been looking at it, is what my understanding is, the history of the actual alert itself. If you look at the history, you can see everything, and then see that Ross planted a flag in one of the comments there. So kind of guiding us through the framework, which is cool. All right. Oh, yeah, so I actually kind of had a hard time with this one because I wasn't sure if I was on the right track. So it was a guess a couple times. So you created 2 custom indicators for Office 365, and those custom indicators were, I believe, under the alerts. Yeah. So you had 4 indicators that were custom, but 3 of them are Office 365 related. So that was kind of a gotcha. What was the actual one? What is possible for a possible sensor flat line? And can you give me the full indicator name of the other indicator for O365? I believe, if I remember correctly, the actual indicator was the no successful authentication in 24 hours. Is that right, Ross? Did I lose Ross?
Hey, Ross, did we lose you?
Sorry, my mic
Oh,
was muted.
gotcha.
No, my
You're
mic
good,
muted. So I can answer that. So actually, when I made that particular question, the third one there, that no successful authentication, actually wasn't there yet. That happened
okay.
after on the org after I made the
Gotcha.
question. So the one that you're looking for was the alert disabled.
Was the alert disabled? So it wasn't the no successful authentication. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't
Let me double check real quick, just to be sure. But get to my admin panel here.
Sure. Yeah, I just don't remember what the right flag was. And CTFD doesn't let you go back and look at your submissions.
Yeah. Yeah, that no successful authentication in 24 hours. We use that one to detect if there's a problem with the integration. So if something goes wrong with permissions when a customer first sets that integration up, we might get logs from them, but we don't get all of them. And the specifically the user logged in logs, which we have a lot of things we look at related to logins. You know, if we don't see those in 24 hours, it either means they don't use Office very often, or or the integration's broken. So that's a way for us to detect when the integration isn't working right, and then get with the customer and make sure that's fixed and the permissions are correct on Microsoft's side.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna be
Okay,
logging
so you were right. It is no successful authentication. So the story though is one of those indicators wasn't there, and it popped up later on after I think I deleted or I closed one of them.
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
think you threw another challenge in, like the second day or something, where it was how many Office 365 events are there. So
Yeah,
I just couldn't remember when I was going back.
since it was an actual live organization and within our app, it continuously gets updated with, you know, as the sensor is still firing. So things get changed as it's active. So.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. All right, so phishing. Looks like we have another important escalation. Looks like someone got phished. Since this was escalated, there's a SOC comment giving us some information, but we could also go view the data ourselves using the Perchybana button located on the right-hand side as 3 blue dots. So this is more of the education of the platform, and you're like forcing us through it to learn how everything works, which is cool. So going back into it, if we look at the alerts and investigating, I think is where it was. Read it one more time.
That one should be escalated.
Yeah.
Since it was escalated.
Yeah, phishing. So this was the phishing. And then I believe it said to look into the actual using it. Nothing. Can you tell me who the user is? So I actually used the comments. So I should go back to where it was. And alerts escalated. So back on the phishing page, you jump into the comments, you can review the whole alert, and that throws the username at you here. Got it right there. It's username Grady A, I'm assuming is the naming convention. So that was the user that done goofed. So let's see. Yeah. So Grady, you need better InfoSec awareness.
Yeah, so what you were looking at on that page back there, that's at the top. We've actually got, in this case, it's a snort signature. So the Perch platform can detect different kinds of indicators, but one of those would be snort signatures. So That's what we're looking at there is the snort signature. And then below that would be the comment. If you were a customer and we were to escalate this to you, essentially what Ross put together there is what a customer would see when that alert triggered after our SOC triaged it.
Gotcha.
So that's the information we pass to them.
That's for the client.
Yes, that's what we send to our customers. So
okay.
we have MSPs and direct customers that we work with and monitor their networks, and then we triage the alerts and escalate them.
Oh, right on. So is this kind of all they can see, or can they see the entire page? Can they see the open alert suppressions, history, all that stuff?
They'll see, what you see there, you're logged in as a customer, so you get the same view that a customer would.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. That is good to know. Nice. Right on, man. Okay, so phishing 2, moving on from that. This one was fun. This had a gotcha in it if you weren't careful. So we're trying to get his plain text password because he got phished, and that's basically what phishing is grabbing creds. So jumping into it, this is still the phishing landing. So now we're gonna actually get into the Discover and look at some stuff.
And Freddie from the SOC is pointing out that we have real-time sightings. So that sightings tab, that's information we're collecting, kind of just some statistics about all of the times that indicator has fired off on all our Perch customers. So you can opt in or opt out on how much you want to share. You can do it anonymous or, share your company name or whatever else you want to, but it just kind of gives you an idea, like, if a particular malware is targeting health systems, you can specify what type of industry you're in, and you can see that in the citing section.
Okay, and that's for that old information sharing feature.
Yeah, that's part. Yeah, that's part of the original goal or the point of Perch was providing not just a SIM and IDS, but also a platform to share intelligence.
Gotcha. Cool. Oh man, learning more as I'm going. This is great. Okay, so phishing 2 was. Oh yeah, we need plain text password. So where was it? Jump into it.
Yeah, so Perchybana is built on top of the Elastic Stack. So that's Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana, and that's really what we're looking at here. It's just the Kibana interface, but it's in the Perch platform.
Gotcha. So I think stumbling through this originally, I was trying just to learn how the actual queries work themselves, because I hadn't messed with the SIM before or really understood it. So I think I spent most of my time just reading this left side to just like learn all the different filters and how they worked, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So digging into that, and then I started learning, like, if I'm looking for alerts, I could filter by event. I think it was event type alert.
Right.
And then it's going to filter it down. Now I've got exactly kind of what I'm looking for here. And then, so you got to think about what the alert was for, is for a phishing. So if you've looked at, a post get request before, you kind of can recognize right off the bat what you're seeing. And so the first thing that stood out to me was a post service login auth. That looks like an authentication. So I drilled down into that, just reading all the information I had available, and saw that there was, it shows the payload and it shows the payload printable, but I get the whole request is cut off.
So do you see that little arrow or the little caret right above the payload printable? Right there.
You're kidding.
There you go.
See, that's just why I'm doing this. Okay, cool. So I'll use this anyways. But the real gotcha with this is, if you don't recognize it right off the bat, is this is going to be URL encoded. So you might run into characters that aren't going to render in plain text. So I'd lean on this this password, people grabbing it and not catching, I think it's the %, or was it the ampersand? No, it's the $sign. So this %24 is a $sign if you decode it. Let's see.
Garrett, have you ever used CyberChef?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's where what I would
All
do
the
with
time.
this. Take it to CyberChef.
Yeah. All the time. So let's see.
Spell the code, bake it up. It just does it. It looks like it cut off. Just copy the whole password to the end. Yeah, there we
Yep.
go. So after that, you're gonna it's got a URL decoded, so you'll get the actual full password, which is right here. And I'll zoom in case you can't see that. So up here, after 3N, it's %24, but after you decode it, you actually get the $sign. So kind of a gotcha. It was good.
Yep.
That was a fun one. Yay. Gotcha. Okay, so the disabled login. So now we're gonna get into the Office 365 alerts, which was good. I gotta just jump in back to Perchybana alerts. Now escalated, and it was this disabled account login right here. So I'm referencing my notes so I can remember everything that's going down. So we got the alert being triggered by, so here's what I'm curious about. Is this just another employee, or is this the actual email that they were trying to log into? This custom value for the open alerts.
That's
the disabled account?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically the Perch CTF is just the domain I created
Yeah.
using for the CTF. So
Okay. I was
it's
just
another employee trying to log on, but I had disabled the account just to generate that alert.
cool. All right, that makes sense. So what was I looking for? Oh, the IP address. Yep. So I answered my own question. If you scroll down, and you can see the actual user ID it was trying to sign in was Megan B, and the client IP is right here, and that's the flag for that one. Grab the IP out of it. So this was just in the comments. Would this be something that would get generated by the alert itself, and you'd be able to dig into?
Yeah, if you open the Perchybana link, you can find that in the raw data.
Because it was in the comments. So
That's actually how I made that, because that comment wasn't there yet when I made that.
gotcha. So yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Right
the client
there.
IP.
I never actually looked into it because it was sitting there, so I was curious about that. Cool. Okay. Oh yeah, the other alert, another Office 65 alert. Let's go back. It was the new user logging in. Yep. Oh yeah, this was another kind of a quick one. It's just the Grady A custom value. You can see the indicator here. Key Diego S, I think, is the actual correct answer. So we received notification, a new user. It looks like it's just the syntax of the whole alert itself, and then showing the username that's been trying to sign into, which is Diego S. So are these, like you talked about before? I don't remember what you referenced for the alert previously. Is that the same thing, kind of just like a custom or just a standard alert that you guys built out?
Right. Yeah. So this screen is a little bit different than what we were looking at before. The one that had the snort signature. This is what we call an event notification, but it basically is just a custom alert. So the snort signatures and other indicators like that we come in from different intelligence feeds. So you can like subscribe to emerging threats, Cisco, Talos, Intel 471. There's a number of companies that produce threat intelligence feeds, including there's like ISACs and ISALs for different industries, like HISAC for healthcare. There's a water ISAC and so on. All of those come into, and those get are added as indicators to the IDS, and that triggers alerts. But then we also are a SIM, so we're getting all that data that comes in as well. It all goes into the same Elastic Stack, so it's all searchable from one interface. But then the event notifications, those are custom alerts that we've created that are primarily looking at the SIM data. So we've got the alerts that are generated by the IDS, and then these are things that are generated by the logs. So like Office 365, an IDS isn't going to be able to monitor your Office 365 environment, but you've got the integration set up. We get Office 365 logs, and then these custom alerts or these event notifications are just alerts that we can build based on that Office 365 logs.
Okay, right on. I like it. Okay, sorry, I'm reading through the whole thing. That's pretty awesome. All right, let's see, new user. All right, fun stuff now. So this is the first time we're like really digging into the data itself. We're trying to figure out the process that launches a network connection that looks suspicious, and you guys were generous enough to give us the kind of a starting query. So let's jump in. I think at one point I had so many filters all the way across the screen. It was a little obnoxious. Let's see if that gives me the right time frame. 11:18, 10:57, 10:29.
So yeah, you can see there with that query we get all the NetFlow data, and there's protocols that the IDS decodes, so we can see HTTP requests. But we also get Windows logs, and then any other logs that were relevant to that search kind of just show up side by side in one interface for all of it.
Mm-hmm. And then it was just trying to understand what I needed to filter out and drill down into. Yeah, I think what I did was I added. So the keys to this is it's a process. Can you tell what process launches? So I was looking for the queries itself, and you can start seeing the actual processes down here. Got to go digging. Well, you got the process PID and the entity ID, and I think the other two are already at the top of the page because it's they're where is it? Available fields, and then so what I jumped into was the process name. That's kind of what I was looking for here. And I may not have it filtered for the right time frame.
Yeah. Ross, do you remember what the time frame for this was? Was it the 11th?
Should be, yeah.
Okay.
I might be 10 o'clock might have been too late.
I'd cut your time with maybe like 7 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
Just to see a little bit more. There you go.
There we go. Yeah. So, but the key kind of was that really made me understand what it was is I had to guess. I'll be frank and honest with you. Like I wasn't sure what it was. So I saw this MSHDA because I honestly did try run DLL 32 just to rule it out. Because it's why not name a process that's malicious, the common name, or just to kind of keep people like you guys off track. So I googled MSHDA, and I think if I remember correctly, it was a command and control framework or malware. Let's see.
So in the chat,
it's actually built in the Windows.
Yeah.
NOS system in the chat recommends you filter that. So we're looking at Windows logs. That's the main thing where you want to find these processes. And so one of the things you can do to filter down and just look at process creations, if you can filter by the event ID. So if you want to add a filter at the top, you can do winlog.event_ID:1.
winlog.event_ID:1. Sure that's right.
Is that right? Okay. What am I missing? All right, take that out. I must be a typo there or something. Yeah, expand one of those winlog events, winlog beat events. Let me make sure we have the right field. The winlog beat.
Over here.
Yeah, just expand one of those. Let's scroll down. There should be an event ID field in there somewhere.
Code type provider.
Or you could just do event.code1. That should work as well.
Event.code1.
Yeah.
:1 should be
Yeah. So this is something that. Okay.
2 or a 3.
Well, 3 should be network connections.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. So this is a network connection from a process, right? So it should be event code 3.
Correct.
Event code 1 is a new process is spawned. Event code 3 is a network connection is established. So this is something where, just if you deal with Windows logs much, you kind of learn some of the common event codes. And these are particular from Sysmon. So 1 is new process, 3 is network connection. I think 13 is a registry modification. So there's, just kind of things you pick up and learn as you deal with these logs more often.
Gotcha. So it just kind of comes with experience for you to be able to recognize exactly what's going on. So makes sense. Cool. But the way I figured it out was just to Google it, and then McAfee does a big post about it. And then, like Ross was saying, it is a native Microsoft binary. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and if you look at that log, you'll actually see it's, telling you that this is what started the network connection.
Inside, like the WinLog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Network connection detected. Yeah.
And then should be like a source and a destination, and then the process that started the connection.
Process name, paid for it.
So the image.hta.exe binary that comes with Microsoft is used by Windows to run HTML applications based on either JavaScript or VBS script.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also highly abusable if the attacker is using VB script, like a stager, and so it actually bypasses using PowerShell. It's a kind of a avoidance technique to avoid spawning PowerShell alerts and stuff like that.
Interesting. I want to know why it's called a lull bin, but that's for another day, I think. Okay. All right, so we got the process. I know. Investigation 2. So that's like you were just talking about. This is a VB script stager. I think this one was a bit of a challenge for myself. This
required digging, some good digging.
So this took a while. So doesn't it give us the query to start with? Yeah, it does. Okay. Discover. Yep, there we go. So, man, I could kind of talk about how I stumbled through it for so long, but I just started adding things. I found the WinLog event, and then I just started throwing everything on the page just to see what it does. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, there's a lot of WinLog events. So my screen was just ridiculous. I probably DOS'd a bunch of people on the challenge. So if you're here and we played together, I'm sorry. But it was just to kind of understand what I could do with it. And the query that I used to find the solution was, I think it was filtered by type, or was it WinLog? I don't know, add filter. Sorry, I should have practiced before I actually did this. So here we go. Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to add WinLog to event data command line exists. Can I put it on top of this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have the field name correct, and then what you do to check if it exists, you just type in the field name, and then you do a colon and then an asterisk. That just checks to see if the field exists. So
I don't even need exists. I can drop.
Yeah,
that.
you just need the field name
and a wildcard.
And then, yep.
And I need to not do WinLog because it's WinLog. Okay. Target event data command line. Oh, I know what I did. I need to add it to.
Yeah, so if you want, you can delete
Yeah.
some of those columns, and then you can add the command line as a new column.
I really should have taken better notes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Here we go. That's what I'm looking Okay, so the question was, can you tell me where the possible compromise came from? So you've kind of already given us a background with the first few challenges, like it's been a phishing scheme or a phishing attack. Someone downloaded something. So I was looking for, um, if you've ever taken phishing training, they talk about don't click links, don't download files you don't recognize, and don't just run stuff. So that's kind of what I was looking for digging through this. Um, and I may have to actually adjust the time because, yeah, it's so fix the time. 9:50.
You can also use the little timeline at the top. You can highlight a section and select the time that way.
So I can jump into 9:50 that way.
Either way works.
That's great. I'd rather learn from the guys that are actually using the thing. This is your stuff. So, see, it was at scrolling down. Here's the money right here. Is you see, you can kind of read through the events. He's on Chrome, so he's probably using the internet, doing whatever he's doing. And then you kind of see out of nowhere, there's a doc file that gets downloaded. So, and then he opens up that process because winword.exe is opening up that file. And I think you can actually see if you scroll down further, after he opens the malicious doc file, you'll see that MSHTA process just a couple seconds later. So, and that's maybe believe that was the file. And then I copied the file name, which was resume_look.docm. And I think is the M for macros? I can't remember.
Correct. It's macro enabled.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of what you hear about all the time is macro enabled Word documents, Excel documents, all that stuff. So he opened it up, he got himself, and now his company's getting hacked.
Yep.
So that was the investigation too, was that malicious Word document. Oh, this was a fun one. Okay. So this took a little while. It was so you're trying to figure out how the attacker actually started getting into the network and how they took over everything. And the there's already an alert for it, which made it really useful or kind of easy to dig into it. So if we jump into escalate invest, that's what it was, the ER attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
And jump in. To remember how this is going to be sorted if it's from earliest. Okay, payload printable exists. That's already on there, right?
Yeah.
I added payload printable. It's printable.
So the payload printables only show up for alerts, so you could also just filter for the alert event type. And
alert. So it would be event. It's type, right? Event type.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go. So you started getting the post requests on the on a web page for the alert. So something funny is going on here. Believe you could do so the payload printable. If you scroll down and like you showed me before, you can tack down and see what's going on. So the very first one, you get an LS is not recognized. And for those of you who don't know, LS is a Linux command, and he's trying to execute it on Windows, and that's why it's not recognized. So this is a web shell, and if they're executing commands from the web, that's a web shell. So this is kind of the first sign of compromises when someone's trying to do that. If you look through each one, So if you actually follow the chain of events, this is useful for later. So pay attention to this. This is going to help you on a challenge later on. So this is the Windows version of LS. I'm assuming you ran dir, and it's showing exactly where he's at. Just trying to figure out where he's at, what he's got access to. And this is the money right here. So he ran well, he just probably what SE Win Defense stop, something like that, just to stop Windows antivirus, which is what you're asking for. And you get the syntax of the comment here, and the service name, Win Defend. State stopped. State stopped. Fun one. That was good. This is the one that you added later on, was it? 365 hits?
Yeah, I had a few different challenges later on, just to
Yeah.
give some more content.
Sure. Yeah. So I think this one, it was just, I'll tell you honestly what I did first. It's kind of embarrassing. Took me a second to realize it was there. I filtered for event type Office 365. I'll need to actually do the right time frame. Absolute. From 13. Time. I think what I did on this was 24 hours.
Yeah, it was midnight to now. Wasn't that the parameters?
Yeah.
So start at 00 on the 11th, and then I don't know if there's anything else logging to that, so I'm not sure if now is accurate. But...
Now,
Yeah, now it's probably not accurate, but during the time of CTF it was.
Yeah, so it's not even it's the right one. So
I would go to the very end of that day. Or the 12th.
Yeah. To midnight on the 12th. That should give you the full 24 hours.
if it's not giving me all the hits, that's not the right answer. Event type Office 365. That's 24 hours. Here. Time October 10th, 002 now. That's by October 11th. That's better. Okay. So originally to find this answer, I'll be honest with I did not look here. Where it
Please
says
tell me you didn't try counting.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
God.
I didn't go that far.
Okay.
Not that far, but it says Office 365 hits. Hits. I went through. It's like, okay, 6 plus 37 plus 14, 92. But when I went back and I took notes on this, it's like, man, I can't actually admit to doing that. And then I saw this, so, but no, I'll admit to it. Your brain kind of stops working when you're doing these things,
Yeah.
man. But right there, 551 hits. That's the answer. 0 log on. Okay, cool. So this was challenging, and I'm glad I'm actually talking to you guys about it because I had the hardest time finding the host name of the DC. Yeah, that one was tough. So it's mentioning that there's a 0 log on attempt, and it's investigating. Yeah. So if we follow it in the Perchybana. So you get the IP address from the destination IP. So here's the IP address of the domain controller. It's the .79 address. Easy. And you can see the whole payload being run. And if you're familiar with 0 logon, this is kind of the process. So let's see. Was it trying to authenticate and actually run it? Yeah, it looks like you're trying to run the exploit. So, but the host name is, I had the hardest time getting the host name. And the way I got it done was to do I went to the IP address of Diego's PC, and it was and event type and log beat. Okay, I think it was.
That should give you what you need. Just if you look at one of the records. Let's see, there should be, I think it's orig, orig.hostname.
So that's Diego PC.
Okay.
So what I should have done, as you're saying, is go to
The target, yeah.
yeah, and I don't know why I keep doing this. I instead of winlog beat, I type winglog beat. I don't know why. Okay.
Time to get some wings, I guess.
So, I guess, man. Storage host name. So when I do that, this is the DC. I'm on the DC, and because I remember looking at this, and it says the origin host name was from Diego. So, the way I did it was by filtering for destination host name, and let's see, winglog. I don't know why I do it. Event data. Let's see, winlog and event type, winlog beat, winlog.event data. It was destination. Dot. Host name. There we go.
There we go.
And there it is. Host name of the domain controller. So that took me forever. I don't know if there's an easier way to find it, or if it would have been in the existing notification, but I don't know. That was hard to
Yeah,
find.
take a look at the alert record. I think it was actually in the payload, wasn't it?
I don't think so. If it was, then that's fine, but I don't remember. Maybe it was, and I just didn't recognize that that was it because of the way the syntax of the name itself.
I pulled it from the alert payload, so it's in there. It may not be that particular one, but it's in one of them.
It's a payload printable.
Yeah, go ahead and filter for alerts, see what other alerts triggered.
Yeah, so that's it there.
Yeah.
Just not recognizing that that was what it was. Because I mean, that does not look like a traditional host name. But that's the point, right?
Yeah, that's part of the zero login attack. It's targeting a specific host, so the host name's going to be in the request.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys want to learn more about zero login, I've got I did a video specifically on zero logon and how that works, and specifically analyzing this signature. So you can go back and look through my history, and you can see that video.
Right on. Interesting. So I mean, it looks like it's trying to authenticate the SMB. Is that what is going on? No. I'll go watch your video.
Okay.
That's what I'll do.
It's using the netlogon RPC. It's an RPC call
Yeah.
that it uses.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Let's see. Exfil. Attackers attempting to access the PC using a
Oh look,
account.
Freddie just shared the link to the video in chat. If anybody wants to watch that.
I'll probably give it a look. I've played with zero logon, but it's a powerful exploit.
Oh.
Shouldn't have played with, I guess. Like, it's like, cool, I got admin, but what did I actually do to the domain controller? Yeah, so this one I fired a guess and said administrator because of zero logon attempt. If I'm being honest, because it was right there. Like, yeah, he's trying to authenticate as administrator. So that's why I fired it. I don't really have a good answer of why that was correct. That's what I saw in the payload, and I assumed that that's how you were trying to authenticate. So, but that was the flag. It said attempted administrator privilege gain, and I'm assuming that's who he's trying to be. Okay, RFI, right? Yeah. I think this one could have been overthought a lot. Yeah. So we had the custom indicator for the Windows RFI, and it's talking about going and if you looked at it, you would have seen it for that RFI. I feel like this one was easy for 300 points because if you actually dig into it, it's literally just the 3 files.
Yeah, that was so. When I originally made that one, I actually forgot I added that particular event notification because that's one I made and I sent off the content to get put on, and it fired. And I was like, I'll just leave this here and see if one uses it. That's why I named the title what it was as a kind of a clue. But besides that, I didn't give you any other parameters to look at.
Right.
Just told you find me the file. So if you want to make it hard on yourself, then you could.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to just kind of look around, you'd be, oh wait, this kind of looks usable.
Right.
And then you had real easy. So
yeah, no. I mean, it makes sense. It was just you'd have to really know what RFI is. I guess it's so if you're not familiar with file inclusion things like that, I don't think you're going to recognize right away what you're supposed to be looking for. But those are the 3 file names in order from what was it, first to last. Yeah. So you in it, like I was talking about earlier, with the extensions or the actual executable being recognizable, like Kerberos, Adobe, and then Windows Update. Those all look like they're trustable. So, but those are the answers: Curb, Adobe, Windows, PWD. So, like I was talking about before with the web shell, when he ran ls and he ran dir, if you go back to that dir command, that shows you the current working directory that the web shell was spawned in. I can just have the actual thing here. You can see directory of C users, user app, data roaming. That's where the web shell was.
That didn't show up for some reason.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
it was a black screen.
Got it. Then I will go back to...
You may just be sharing your browser, so it's not showing other things you pull up.
Oh yeah, that's probably the case. I guess I can switch what I'm sharing to... Monitor. Here we go. So pull over OneNote. Is that better? See
Nope,
now?
still black.
No, black. Switch window. How about now?
There we go.
Yeah,
Cool.
there we go.
So this is when I was doing investigation 3. It was you're going through each one of the payloads, and this is the directory he was working in, and that was the answer for the PWD because he's working on the user app data roaming templates. So that is the answer there. Zoom out. Oh, SMB. This was fun. This was the hardest part. Cool. So the first SMB challenge is pretty easy. Which users is he trying to use to extract data? So if you filtered for event type SMB, I mean, it's going to be pretty generic.
You've got another filter up there. You need to delete that.
That top one up there, the RFI.
Oh, thank you. I'm just gonna go. Where is it at?
So right under the. Here we go. Yeah.
Okay. Time frame 1300. There should be SMB.
You're also in WinLog beat records.
Oh. Yeah, you didn't have to deal with this during the CTF because we had a special index created for the CTF, and so you were only looking at the CTF data. But right now you're looking at other record types. So just change that to SMB records. So where it says WinLog beat records, yeah, scroll through there.
Or or that October index, either one works. Yeah.
My goodness. Okay. I don't remember how I could actually do the filter by types. The add filter. What was it? Speed user exists. that the right one?
So yeah, I don't think you want the exist there.
So the way that works is it does field name, then you select an operator, and then select the value.
I guess I could drop some of these. I don't think I have the right time frame. So it's from 9:30 to 1:30 on the 11th.
Hey, Alex in chat missed what cigar I'm smoking today. It's the Man'O'War. That's what I'm smoking right now.
Gotcha. Nice, man. Let's see. SMB. I don't know. I'm not a big cigar guy. I think the only ones I've ever smoked are Macanudos. It's my dad's cigar of choice. SMB. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right there and then add this to it. Okay, there. We can get rid of all of this stuff. Did I just clear my query? I think I did.
No, I think you're good.
You're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's kind of the chain of events. So I tried to see if it was the administrator. So I should probably filter the time down because this wasn't showing up. So you gave us like this time frame for this whole event. So I guess I could talk about the following challenge also. Is that you're asking for the administrator's SMB SID. If you stuck to the time frame that you gave us for this challenge and you didn't try to expand that time frame, you weren't going to get the last one. And I think it was from like 10 to 11:30ish is where we were all investigating from. So pretend like the bottom doesn't really exist. Let's get rid of it to 11. So you saw the authentication attempts, and I didn't give a good reason for it. I tried user and then I tried SQL service, and it was the SQL service because it looked like. So you got a status success for SQL service, but I think you got a status success for user as well. So maybe you guys can help me out. How would I make sure I know for sure that it was supposed to be SQL service?
So I think I made off a different record. So I was using SMB, but there was some surrounding records that are not SMB that kind of gave you the hints. If you change that index to the October index that we set up, so if you go back to SMB records down below it there, yeah, and then change it all the way down to that 2012 and 2010 records, like basically every record included.
Okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't user because user was not a admin on the DC. So the question returned around the DC being exfiltrated, and you had two users that were admin, the administrator, and then there was a SQL service that also had admin rights.
Got it. Okay, so there was more investigation that could have been done.
Right.
Right. And I just CTF'd it and guessed. So. Okay, that explains that. And then the administrator, Sid, was the one I had the hardest time with, to be honest with you. So if we so it's 11:30. I think that's the. Switch this up to the 13:30. Date. And. I still have the SMB up there.
No, you took that filter out.
Okay. You know what? It's stressful trying to sit there and navigate this thing when you're on stream with like two people that know everything about it and people that are watching know everything about it. I'm just like,
Yeah, no worries. You're doing great for somebody who's hadn't used the platform before the CTF, so it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Let's see if that'll. I just need SMB. And then I need the SMB.ntl. Yeah. Find administrator. So I should be able to do, in theory, .smb.ntl MSP. This user filter and then administrator. Should I be able to do that? To search for them?
Yeah, that should work.
What would that look like? Is it like SMB user administrator.
Yep, that looks right.
Bingo. Cool. Then if you actually get into it, you can get the session ID. But it took me forever to just change the time. And I didn't try a query like that at all. I didn't think to try it because there was 6 minutes left in the CTF and I just needed this damn sit. So that was the one that put me over the top. So fun challenge, man. I did the whole Perchybana storyline was fun, and I think the night that we started, I didn't sleep very well because I was digging into this so hard. But for my first time dealing with any kind of sim or working with the elk stack, it was fun. Learning the KQL was fun. So nice job for everyone that did that. That was a lot of fun. Okay, so I guess we can get into the actual CTF, like the CTFE challenges. Welcome to IT Nation. Oh yeah, I think this was the first flag that everybody got.
Yeah, we just gave that one to you. It was just right there on the front page.
Was it the page? I know there's one in the source.
Yeah, that one.
Somewhere.
Yeah, that one was just right there. If you scroll
There it is.
down, yeah, there's a free flag for everybody.
Okay. Yeah, welcome to Perchybana Explained. So is it in the source here?
I think that one was in the source.
Flag there it is. So you see the source and you just search for flag. This is usually what I do when I'm looking at source code because most CTFs have a different syntax for the flags, but it's generally flag whatever their acronym and then within squirrely brackets. So there's the flag there. Welcome to Perchybana. Let's see, challenges. Right. Okay, so this one was fun. You got to kind of do a little bit of file investigation on this. Let's see. Got it. So basically what you would do is if you try to open the file, let's see if you can do that, you get all this gobbledygook, right? So if you have Linux or Kali or whatever you're running with and you actually run file against it, you'd find that it was a zip file. So to extract the flag, you just change the file name extension from .txt to .zip, unzip it, and I believe it was a base64 encoded string, and you just had to decode that. Let me see if I have it on my Kali. Yeah, I do. Here, I'll kind of show you what that looked like.
Another cool thing is if you're not running Linux or anything, you can also do that in CyberChef.
Yeah, and it should extract it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Zoomed in for it. And where did I save this? So you had the download.txt. If you just do file download, you can kind of see it's a zip archive, right? So if you move download.txt to download.zip, unzip, download, yes. So now we got file.txt. You can cat that. Use the base64. You can go online and base64 to code it. I like to just pipe it into base64 to code. My terminal's all jacked up, but let's do it again. So if you, wow, it is all sorts of jacked up. Let's do it the old way. CyberChef, huh? Let's do CyberChef. Or from base64, get rid of the URL decode. Why is it giving me that?
That's part of the challenge.
Yeah, that was part of the challenge. That was.
Trying to, oh yeah, that's the
Yeah.
rot. Sorry. Okay, so now we have that string, copy, and then you got to understand rot 13, which is just kind of a Caesar cipher. And what was the run through it? You're trying to get to flag. Where are you? There it is. So rot 23 is basically what it was. Rot 13 or rot 133. Forgot about that part. So it's a base 64. You knew I was gonna mess this up when I said it was just a base 64 to code for the flag. He didn't say anything. So that's what it was. You had to remember the name of the challenge, which is rot. So if you've never actually dealt with it, it's a Caesar cipher. There's places you can go mess with that, like here on CyberChef, or Rumkin's got a good one. Kind of explains the history of it, which is pretty cool if you're interested in that. Universal Code. Yeah, this was good, man. I like this because it's not a very common. So what this was is this is steganography. Let's just go ahead and download like my 8th copy of it. So you get this whole thing, and it's the heat death, the imminent heat death of the universe. Blah blah blah. Okay. So you look at it, it's just like, okay, what is all of this? But the file opens huge. But if you highlight everything, that looks weird. And I forgot about it for a while, so I bought myself some hints. And then this is what it reminded me was the indentations. So what this is called steg snow. Let's see. There we go. Just kind of look into it. It's a program for concealing messages and text files by appending tabs. So tabs, indents. So you can just download steg snow on there. Does CyberChef have a solution for this? I don't think it would.
I don't think so. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So did I still have it installed? Yeah. And then it was so cold. So the actual tool itself, I think you just run apt install steg snow, and you should have it on Ubuntu and Kali, I believe, would both be okay. So it's another base 64 string. So this should work this time since I'm not paying attention to. Nope. Just go back to the CyberChef. Doesn't break. Ah, yes. So it's another base 64, then another base 64, then another base 64. Thank you so much, Ross. Okay. And after, what is it, 5 decodes, you get to the actual flag, which is, was that 175? I-75 Winter Wonderland? What is I-75? Does that mean anything?
It's with numbers. Yeah.
Thank you for the lead speak. Okay, it's a Winter Wonderland. Got it. Okay, so that kind of took you out of the starting, and that was a tough one for starting. To be honest, if you didn't recognize that, you'd be.
I tried to put a lot of hints in there, but
yeah, no, it just took me a sec. So this is location is key flag, name of place. So you get this image. The way I solved this was just to do a Google image search, reverse image search, and it should be just. Can I just be able to do it on images? There. So you can upload that file. Very what? Downloads. Fun was the name of it. Fun. And there's your location. Because it's, I mean, if you look through it, it's the same picture for, I'm not going to say that name because I don't know how, but this W National Park was the name of it. So you threw it in the flag swirly brackets, and that was your flag. TXT for the EX, yeah, for the text for the X. So this is if you know, like, you kind of have to know DNS right away. That's what you're referencing here with this hint. Was you're looking for text records for this domain live recon .xyz.
I didn't catch that until now.
So let's see. So it was just like DNS text record lookup. I think is what I did for this. Yeah. So then you just you take that domain name, throw that in there, look up the text records, and you get your flag. So the hint was in the challenge title. You had to at least recognize what the why TXT was capitalized like that. So there's your flag there. History class, I don't want to talk about it. I spent a lot of time with GitHub's API, and I could not find Perch Ross or Ross Perch or whatever it was. I mean, I think I looked at. I am very familiar with all of the GitHub Rosses except for the one that mattered. So wasn't able to solve that one, but that's what it was. Is your old GitHub account? Right? Was it Ross Perch?
So if you go on GitHub real quick, I'll guide you to it. If you got the hint and you look on GitHub, and then I put a hint in Slack for everybody, and it was basically saying I didn't make an account until I started at Perch. And I wasn't creative with it. So if you type in Ross Perch and look at users, and just no space, you'll see that. And then I just recently created my ideas repository. And so you go in there, I'm like, oh look, and then I deleted something. So you hit the history, and you go through. I think the second or even the third one will tell you the change I made.
Yep, there's your flag. I mean, I looked up R Farrington, R Far, Farrington R, Farrington Ross, Perch, or I look for what was it? On your LinkedIn, your Gmail is, what is it? Red something? Red Farrington. Looked for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, was not successful at all, but that's okay. I'll accept that. I think this was a freebie that you added later on. It was going to, I think it was on Twitter. Let me look that up. So the socials are usually Birch. Or I think it was you. Bam.
Yeah, I'd use that one.
Yeah.
It's faster.
Search. If. And was it a tweet and reply? When was this? This was on the 14th, 16th, 15th, 14th. There it is. Cool. So BAM CTF retweeted the flag that we were looking for. What fun flag, share the word and have fun. See if we can follow this. Yeah, so it was BAM mentioning the whole CTF, and I think you guys added that in after people were looking for your GitHub flag and asking if it was on the social thing. And you're like, I don't have one, but so.
Yeah, I pretty much added in as an extra.
Yep.
Yeah. So for Elemental, I will tell you how I solved it, embarrassingly. But if there's a walkthrough of it, I would rather Ross do it because he probably has a much more elegant and beautiful way of doing this. So I'll kind of just walk through, see if I have let's get the file. Okay, so looking at it and this entire thing, it took me a second to recognize what this was. But I think it was after I saw AU and I was like, okay, these are all periodic elements. So the periodic table, which is the atomic numbers of each element, is comparable to what is ASCII. So you could, the solution for this was to find the element, transfer the element to its atomic number, and transform the atomic number to plain text. Now, I'm not a developer or programmer in any way, so what I did, and I'll just kind of walk you through it, was I used Vim to replace all the commas with new lines. Then I used unique to get all the characters sorted out. So I had each element as only one time repeating. Then I found a periodic table and I referenced the atomic numbers and made a list of that. Then I opened the original list back in Vim and did replace for each atomic number for the element. And then once I was done with that, I replaced the commas. I just kind of took those out and removed the space between each number, or I took those out and took the actual transform numbers to an online decoder, and that gave me the flag. But the trick to this one is after that entirely painful process, you had to insert the Y's, because I don't think there was a number for a lowercase y. And that was a gotcha that got me a couple times. So you had to go in and do it that way. So Ross, if you want to show how the intended solution was, because mine is hideously ugly, I still got it, but it's awful.
So Yeah, that is kind of painstaking. So
Yeah.
the idea behind what you did was correct.
Uh-huh.
The idea I had for you to use was to script something out real quick to decode it, because there actually is a Python module that works with atomic elements. And it's the same module I use to write a quick script to create the flag, so you can just do the reverse order to decode the flag. Let me see if I'll pull it up real quick.
And for those of you who were watching a couple weeks ago when we went over the B-Sides Houston CTF, there was a very similar challenge, if not the same one, that we used for B-Sides Houston.
Yeah, I that one was a little bit easier. You could decode that by hand in like 3 minutes. It was only a couple characters long, so I was like, I'm gonna make this one a lot longer, and that way it's more painstaking.
It was.
So I'll just share my screen real quick, like.
Sure. I gotta stop sharing mine. Is that how
Yeah.
it works? Yeah, I'll stop sharing. Now I'm gonna watch, because this is gonna be so fast and much prettier than mine.
All right, I'm on.
Yeah, you're on.
I can't tell. All right. So yeah, I have a quick script that I actually wrote just to create the flag. Basically, it runs through, and I made that pretty, but I should have. But it runs through, translate all this into the top numbers, and it actually keeps the Y. So you have to add Y. So it just kept the Y as a string, and I can get the flags like this. And if you want
It's
to
a
look,
lot nicer.
and all it is the PR table import. This is a
That's
module. Yep.
Okay. That's not bad.
So pretty simple, nothing crazy. That was the intended way I wanted you to do it. I mean, you could do it the way you did just fine. It's just more painstaking.
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah. But all good. And now I learned about a new module, so that's cool. Periodic table. Nice. I think I said something to you that because of the message of what the flag said, I really tried typing this, but here I am just to make sure this is nice and long. Just to punish me for doing it manually. Which is...
that was the goal, yes. I will punish you if you're going to do it.
Yeah, so. No, fun challenge.
All right.
Stuff. Let's
see, Garrett, you want to share your screen again?
Sure, yeah.
And yeah, for some reason, when you stop sharing your screen, the your webcam changes size. I don't know why, but
oh, okay. That's a little odd.
Yeah, but when you share it again, it goes back to the size I had it set. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Here. Okay, is it
Yeah.
back up? Cool. So after we solved elements, we got deception, and this was interesting. I got kind of caught in a rabbit hole with this one. So the hint is I tried asking the server, like, did I get it back? And so open up the packet capture in Wireshark. You can kind of look through it. So what did I do? HTTP. So I think this is kind of you intended people to fall down this trap because of what your hint was. So I asked the server for the flag, get flag, and follow the TCP stream. You can see it actually go to a host name or URL at Evil eCorp, and Evil eCorp resolves. And so I spent some time trying to look into it because it's but when you actually go to Evil eCorp, there's no SSL certificate, so there isn't going to be a redirect to HTTPS on there. So it's this Nginx move permanently. This redirect doesn't exist, and I refused to accept it. So I spent a lot of time on it. But the hint actually was in the title of it, which is deception, and then the title file, which is look deep. So I just started looking at the protocols themselves to see if there's something I didn't recognize. You know, our common DNS, TCP, HTTP. It was just kind of scrolling through, and rather than try to hunt for it, because there's only 2 of them, it was here. This IPX. I don't know what IPX is, but if I looked into the data, I think is where it was at. If you look down here, you can see flag. And this was just a lucky. I got lucky on it. I was just going through every single protocol on every single packet, trying to see if I could find the data, because I've seen it hidden this way before. But I will look up what the IPX protocol is later. I think it's something with printing, maybe.
It's IPX SPX was used by NetWare. Novell NetWare. This is kind of old school stuff.
Explains why I don't recognize it. And then the screenshots from Google are from like Windows 98, 95.
Yeah.
Okay, that explains that. But it's the flag here. I think you could actually copy all that. I don't remember how I actually got the data out of it. Essentially, this is the flag. It's base 64 encoded. You have to decode the basics to get the
Right.
So back into the CTF. Busted. Okay, so this is just a basic directory scanner. Is this still up?
That should be up.
Okay. So I like to use GoBuster. So we just throw the URL in, basic word list. Medium, and we'll do 50 threads because I think it's just me. And then you start getting the directories, and then this is the only one you're going to see. So it's tedious the way I do it, but you can you'll append the directory to the end of the URL and run it again. Secret, only 2 meters deep, but after a while you have to start filtering for or brute forcing extensions. So I usually look for like HTTP, TXT, HTML, or not HTTP, HTML, and PHP and TXT, just to kind of see what I can find. It should be pretty quick. I think I could.
That was the reason for the title. It was hopefully you realized it was directory busting, either GoBuster, a Dirbuster, Derb. There's tons of them. Search. I like Search personally, but GoBuster's good too.
Actually, admin secret, right? Yep. Oh, yeah, I'm breaking it. Let's just filter.
You done broke it.
Yep. So and then you'll get the config.txt. So then it's just a matter of going to the URL, which was /admin secret config.txt, and yeah, all of this. So it looks like is it the Nginx?
It is. Yeah.
So I didn't want to look for it, so I just search flag, and you get enumerate all the vectors. There's your flag. And Vim. This was good, man. I enjoyed this. And password nation. Okay. So you get dropped in, and then you got a flag.txt and a Vim with X that set the X LSSL. There we go. So try to cat the flag, can't. So let's run Vim in it. Okay, so it looks like Vim. So leave it. I hate Vim. I hate it so much. Thank you, Jesus. Nano's better. Anyways, so the only reason I think I was successful in this one is because I've just messed with GTFO bins a lot. So you could check. So if you look at what's in this directory, you've got all this stuff, but you can check the capabilities of this file, and you've got Vim equals is set UID plus EP. So you guys probably know better than I do what that means, but I know you can change the capability of the file to run as a certain user, I think, or with certain permissions. But Vim, there's a pretty cool resource for like privilege escalation called GTFO bins. I'll let you finish what the acronym means. I think this will show it to you. So if you search for Vim and you pull that up, you can kind of look through everything that's going on. And it's we know it's SUID. So if we check on SUID down here, then we can see that. So SUID's right here. It's set, and this is close. But it won't actually process and won't run with the right permissions. So you have to use the capability against the binary itself. And you'll look at the difference between here is that it's running the execute for the bin sh, but you have to use the file's capabilities to set your UID to 0 before it'll run. And there's another gotcha in it is that so if you look here, it says it requires that the BIM is compiled with Python support, prepend Py3 for Python. So you had to check to see if Python was installed, okay, which Python 3. So you know that it's Python 3. So in order to get this to work correctly, you actually have to use that command, which you have to adjust it to use Python 3. So let's grab this and this, and I think it was just Py3 here, and ID root, and then you can cat flag that text. There it is.
Nice.
Fun one. That one was good. Enjoyed that one. Exceptional Vim, Rocket Busted. I think that's all the ones I solved. Ross, it would be really nice if you would relieve the pain of prison, please.
Prison, yeah. What a good one.
Okay, I'll give you the screen share, and then I'm gonna join the stream and watch. I need answers.
Prison was great.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I don't know who SSD was, but I mean, John Hammond popped in and solved it relatively quickly. I don't know why they
Even he was stunned. He required
Yeah.
a few little pushes in the right direction. He was like, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
So let me pull this up real quick.
I mean, I looked at the source code, I prettified it, and I tried to go through each one. I mean, I wrote pseudocode in to try to understand what each variable was doing. It's like, yeah.
Did you get any hints at all? Did you buy any hints or no?
Oh, I spent all my cash on it. Yeah, I got the source code for it. So, and then after the event ended, I actually sent it to a friend of mine, and he's just like, "Man, I have no idea," and he's pretty good at this stuff. So, well done, sir. You came up with a challenge that stumped some pretty smart people, like my friend Blake.
Well, I won't lie. I participated in a really hard CTF a couple months back, and they had something kind of similar, and I was like, "This is ingenious." And so I took that, but they gave you source code. They gave you everything to kind of solve it. And I was like, I don't want to do that. That's too easy.
White
and
box.
so I changed it to where I gave you a little bit of hint, but you're going to have to know your bash to really figure it out. So I don't want to take full credit for that, but I was a great challenge.
The shebang. Like I don't get what that was doing, but that's why we're going to talk about it.
All right, where's my Skype thing? There it is. Share screen. All right, so you would netcat to that IP import, and it says help. I'm stuck in your bash, and you just have two files, which it gives you: prison and restricted.sh. And you can sit here and do all kinds of fun stuff. And you're like, what can I do? I can't do anything. Eventually,
hey, Ross, any chance you could make your font just a little bit bigger?
Yeah. Well, let me. I don't want to scroll up. Oh God, I'm breaking my VM. Oh God. Okay. I can't work this show apparently. I might stuck in the scroll.
Yeah.
What the heck?
This is the first time I've seen this one.
Okay. All right. I got a better idea. Let's just do this. Pull up CTF. I forgot what hints I actually gave y'all. I gotta look at what I gave y'all.
It was like you talked about the ABCs.
So this was a big hint. What happens is the functions are all single letters. So your entire input completely capped to your single letters or certain special characters. And I'll show you all the code here in a second. Let me get this pulled up to where I can. Okay, now I can actually use Windows controls on this thing.
Yeah, there we go.
So the hint told you to just try your ABC. So if you were to actually just try A, you got a function that worked. If you tried B, you got a function that worked. And then you got C, you got a function that worked. And then pretty much your big hint was right here. So ask you what else can you print as far as letters, and I got a bunch of it as random crap right here. And you may not know what that looks like, what this is, if you're not familiar with how Bash works and some of the, how that works. But if you saw stuff like this should have been your big hint right here, because these are all special characters that are used when doing like shell scripting and stuff. And if you continue going down the list of ABCs, you eventually got to, I think, X. Was that right? Yeah. So X was print your environment. And so this is kind of another big clue that one of these two files, prison is probably what I'm in, and the restricted is probably what I need to run to find my flag. But that's all you can do is run those 4 functions, and that's it. That's the only thing you can do. If you try doing anything else, it gives you either these too long, so I can't run commands, or if you tried doing like this, something like this, it'd give you overflow. So basically using too many special characters. And so the gotcha, or the really key thing here to do is simply to run the file you need. So in the current directory, you'd run it, and then all you gotta do is type out that file length in question marks, because the question mark is a single character wildcard in Bash. And so you would type it out. It's 11 characters, I think. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 dot wildcard. It ran the script, hit X, and there's your flag.
Nice.
So it was all based on wildcards.
Wow.
Or single character replacement wildcards, anyway.
So it was just you had to replace each character in the script's name with the wildcard to get it to run.
Yep.
So yeah, my Bash is not strong enough for that, man. So that's cool. Okay. Very cool. No way. I feel so much better now. It's been killing me for so many days. RE.
You want to pull up the source for that real quick? Show us what that looks like.
Yeah, we can do that real quick. Let me find my other. Oh wait, I have it on here. So that's basically what you were stuck in, was right here. All that fun you had trying to solve that.
That's good, man. That I've never seen a shell like that before. So that was very cool. And I mean, you stumped John, so well done, well done, sir. John's a smart dude. So cool. And then I guess the last one was the
Rocket Man.
It was the Rocket.
Yeah, Rocket Man was pretty much, I wouldn't say impossible, but you had to get kind of lucky on that one. And that was not totally intentional. I had forgot completely that I had upped that secondary requirement to the point it was, I think, 40,000 permutations versus the 24, the original one I made.
Yeah.
So it was a lot harder to get the correct permutation. So I'll show you the source code and what was going on there real quick.
I think I managed to get to stage 3 once, but I missed it. So.
See, that's the thing though. If you got stage 3, you had what you needed. That's the funny thing. So.
Good to know.
Let me just run it real quick. Python.
You're missing a Y there. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had coffee too. This is ridiculous. So I've added my cheat sheets back in. My little tells me the speed. So what it was is there was a simple orbit. Actually, let me show you the code first. That might make it a little better. So this used several different just modules, mainly permutations and some color stuff for the banner and stuff. The main thing you had to do with the first part was define the orbit. So this is the function that does that. Calculates you can find the formula online if you don't know the formula for orbital velocities. So you calculate that out, and there is a thing where if the way floats are calculated with different languages tends to vary because you can't get exact to the binary 0 to 1, and floats don't operate like that. So different languages and compilers will actually get different answers slightly depending on the number of significant digits. So I had people, question me like, "Hey, I know I'm getting the right answer. This website tells me it's the right answer. It's just, but you're not working, or it's not working." I'm like, well, why don't you round up or down that least significant bit? And that's where a lot of people ran into issues, is because they didn't round their significant bits based on the difference of floating point numbers. And that's just basically just because of the way how computers work. It's nothing I can really do to change that. It's kind of why I stuck with a really low amount of significant bits, or the significant digit. But you'd calculate that, and this thing was timed, or I was going to set the time to 60, and I totally forgot to do it. So you had 20 seconds to solve this challenge. And after I noticed that, I was like, people already tried it, so I might as well just leave it and see who actually gets it. So you entered your orbital velocity just as 7.57, which I have here. Dog. Yeah. And then you had permutations. So basically, the idea was like, well, you have a bunch of like lines you hook up to this satellite in your spacesuit, and you had to figure out how the lines went. It was, I think, 40-something thousand permutations with 8 lines. So, and I probably timed out here already. Yeah. So, yeah, 20 seconds to do all that. People were trying to do it by hand, and they were not having a fun time.
No, there's no way to do it by hand. I mean, you could throw in the velocity, but no.
And that was the point. I didn't want you to do it by hand. So if you got to this part, you're actually good. This is all you needed. So what this is RSA. I gave you an RSA cipher text. I gave you the E, and I gave you P and Q. And all you had to do was write out a little small script to decode all the variables for RSA and decode the cipher. But I'd hit it as an error message, and then I just code. And you could sit here and type every code you wanted. It didn't do anything.
That's awesome.
That's cheeky. Nice. All right, so it's just basic RSA after that. That would have been easy. Oh my god. All right.
The hardest part was getting lucky enough to hit the correct permutation.
It was all luck. I think I ran a brute force against all 40,000. Like, I just kept restarting it. So, and until I got lucky once, and then I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. To hell with it. So, but
it's okay.
Yeah, now I can see the RSA.
You have failed.
I have failed.
Frowny face. But yeah, that was Rocket Man. That was the one that did not get solved. But that's okay. It's part my part, I guess.
20-second timer, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for fun.
I think there were
that was.
Yeah, I think there were a few people who said they got to stage 3. So several of you out there were right there, almost got it, but not quite.
It explains why he said it was meant to not be solved. Because that was the 20-second window, and then 40,000 permutations. 24 would have been great, man.
Yeah.
I can't give 1,000 points for that easy.
No, well, you upped it because nobody solved it, and then it was. I don't think you didn't do any hints or anything either, so not a big deal. But it was a lot of fun, and then nobody got it. So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys putting that on. I got sent to the conference from work, and I didn't know what to expect. And the first thing I did was look to see if there'd be a CTF, and you guys were running this, so I was really excited about that. So appreciate you guys putting it on.
Yeah, that was fun. We like doing these. So yeah, I think that does it for IT Nation Secure. So thanks, Garrett. Thanks, Ross. You did a great job. I think a lot of people enjoyed that. So just a couple of things before we end here. Next week, we've got Taylor joining us, and he's going to do a couple crackmes from crackmes.one. So this is the site. I've got it pulled up here. If you want to go check out crackmes.one, try out some crackmes. If you don't know what a crackme is, it's just some reverse engineering. So there's some challenges here. Usually they take like a password or a key of some kind, and you've got to decode them and figure out how they work. So we're going to go through a few of these next week. But yeah, feel free to go to crackbeast.one and check those out. Try some of the different challenges there. We'll pick a few out and we'll do those with Taylor. So Taylor is our boss for me and Ross at Perch. So he's going to show some of his skills. He's not just a director. He also has some mad skills of his own. So yeah, we'll check those out. And if you guys haven't been there yet, this is my site, bamctf.com. It's got a command line interface here. You can look at stuff. There's a few things here, links to some other videos, my GitHub, some crack meets we did last week with Jason, the PCAP I use for the zero login. If you want to access any of these, you can cat like say B-Sides Houston. That's going to take you to my GitHub where I've got the challenges we did on the B-Sides Houston episode. Some very similar challenges here. So this is some more of Ross's Mad Genius. We did that episode a few weeks ago. If you want to go back and kind of look through those, that's where the files are. And I think that's about it. All right, sorry about this. For some reason, every time I change screens, Garrett's camera keeps moving around. I don't know why, but all right. So yeah, that's going to be it for this week. Like I said, next week, Taylor is going to join me. We'll do some more crack me's. If you guys are looking for something to do today, there's some CTFs going on. I know a Meta CTF just started about 45 minutes ago. That's metactf.com. Looks like they've got some fun stuff going on. And I think, Garrett, you mentioned you're in the middle of a CTF right now too, right? What was B-Sides?
Yeah, B-Sides PDX. I think it's going to be wrapping up this evening,
Okay.
but it's the signups are still open. There's a bunch of binary reversing and stuff like that if you're into that. So just hop in.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, there's CTFs going on all the time. If you guys haven't been to CTF time, check that out. You can see upcoming CTFs. Like I said, CTFs are huge nowadays, and there is probably 1 or 2 or 3 going on every week, it seems like. So feel free to check that out. And I think that'll do it. Join me next week with Taylor, and then after that, I'm going to just start doing some tutorials, not specific to any event, but just kind of going through some different tactics and things that you commonly encounter in CTF, and just kind of giving some tips and tricks. And then I'm going to do a little bit. I'm going to talk about how to run a CTF. So we'll look at some of the technology behind like CTFD and talk about how you set up challenges and that sort of thing as well. So I think that does it for this week. So thanks, Garrett. Thanks, Ross. We'll talk to you guys some point later. I appreciate your time. And yeah, I think that does it. So everybody just remember, if you ever get stuck on a CTF, to try harder, don't panic, and don't forget to RTFM. So we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.